Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Jalen in for our injured player this week, Juicy. So we will have Jalen coming in off of the bench here to cover LSU versus Alabama going down in Tuscaloosa this weekend. How's it going, Jalen?
Well, it's going good, Chief. I'm glad to be back on the fishbowl. And, coming off the bench isn't so bad. I could maybe win a championship. You never know.
Hey, man, you might become the new starting quarterback after this gig. But yeah, so let's get down to this game here. LSU's offense has been the talk of the time, this year, basically. Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors and company there. They do a lot of different things very well. They can run the ball well with Logan Diggs. How you see this matchup against Alabama's defense going, Jalen?
I think this LSU offense this year compared to the last, I think is very explosive. I mean, like you said, Jaden Daniels. You got not only Malik, but mixing a little bit of Kyron Lacey, Logan Diggs running the ball really well. I think LSU offense really going to be explosive against Alabama. I think Alabama's defense is really led by Kool-Aid McKinstry. But honestly, I feel like he's not having the best year that preseason all first team all SEC thought he would so far. But he's still having a great year. But as far as that Bama defense, they don't have the big time name players as they had in the past, like a Will Anderson. Guys that can be disruptive, guys that can get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I just think the LSU offense, they can have a great day against this Bama defense.
Okay, so yeah, like you hit the nail on the head, I think, with talking about Alabama's defense. It's not the Alabama defense of old like we're used to seeing and having those playmakers on the side of the ball. Even Alabama's offense is suspect this year. I mean, they had to come back against Tennessee a couple of weeks ago. And as you look at I'm kind of wondering what the predictor is going to say. That's one that I hadn't looked at it all day. I hadn't looked at it all week. So I wanted to know what this thing's going to predict here. LSU is currently 6-2, and they're 4-1 in the SEC. Their path to the SEC championship, like Juicy's highlighted since the entire season, in me as well in the Fishbowl. LSU's alive and well for the SEC West title. That's for sure here, depending on if they can get Ole Miss to drop an SEC game to where they can, they got that head-to-head over LSU right now. Back then, we talked about LSU's defensive line playing a lot better. That is something that's going to be a pivotal moment, I think, in this game here is how well these guys can handle the bright lights of Bryant-Denny Stadium and time in prime time, basically. So, looking back here, Ole Miss lost to Alabama earlier this year, and it was a 24-10 matchup. So, but looking at Ole Miss's remaining schedule is they got Texas A&M, then they got at Georgia, then ULM, and then they got at Mississippi State. So three of those games really count those three of those games count when you're talking about the SEC West picture. So Georgia is obviously the biggest one on that schedule here, and that's gonna be Georgia's biggest test that they're gonna have coming up later this year as we talk about the SEC West title race here. And if you look at who Georgia has left, we're going to pull up their thing here real quick. But looking at who they have left is, they got Missouri. They should beat Missouri. I'm gonna probably pick them. Honestly, that's a little foreshadowing when we do our top 25 picks because it is a top 25 matchup. Then they got Ole Miss, and then they got Tennessee, and then they got Georgia Tech. So I don't see Georgia not making the SEC championship game. In fact, this is the biggest game of the year for Missouri. Missouri has to win this game. But I don't think Georgia's really the Georgia of old either. They haven't really played a tough schedule this year. Looking at, nobody they have beaten right now is in the top 25 still. So it's not a little bit worrying if you are Georgia a little bit here because you don't know you kind of think about what you got, but we'll see what happens when we get down to it here. But are they worthy of a top 5 ranking? Yes, they are the 2-time defending national champions, and we should have them on that list here. So, Jalen, how you see this SEC West race going down when we get after the LSU Alabama game? How you think it all kind of like ends up without saying your pick, if you could think of a way?
Okay, so really, without saying a pick, the way I see these games kind of playing out, I really see LSU winning the SEC West. I mean, like I said, I don't want to give my picks away for the games coming up, but I do think I see LSU winning SEC West. I think their path to the SEC championship is really on them. I mean, they like you say, they lost to Ole Miss in a nail biter early in the year. Then the first game of the year against Florida State when they really lost badly in that one. But I think they bounced back since then. I think the Tigers, the path to the SEC championship, how well they can play on offense. The offense is very explosive. We just need to see the defense pick it up more. I mean, obviously they was going to defeat Army a couple weeks ago, and then they had blew Auburn out the gate. But I think it all rides on the defense and how well they could play, how Mason Smith and those guys can get to the quarterback. As far as Alabama, I just don't think it's the Alabama team of the past. I think this Nick Saban team is just. I mean, they lost to Texas early in the year. It was kind of hurt their chances right there. I just don't see this being the same Alabama team. And then as far as Ole Miss, I mean, I know they beat LSU, but the rest of the season, I mean, their schedule. I mean, they have to play Georgia, like you said earlier, and that's a tough out as it is. I know Georgia isn't the same team in the past, but I mean, it's an Ole Miss team that Tulane gave a run for their money earlier in the season. So it's a lot of tough games left for everybody in the SEC West, but I think LSU just has that path to the championship.
I think LSU's got a really good shot here, like you said, here to go get into this SEC West battle here. And it all starts with the Alabama game. I think this is the one that they're going to have to win. And there's no way forward. If LSU loses this game, you can kiss their SEC West chances goodbye because there's nothing else they can do. If they beat Florida and they beat Texas A&M, Alabama's probably not going to drop another game this year when you look at the rest of their schedule here. Because looking at Alabama's schedule, if you're looking at it from a objective point of view, they have LSU, this Saturday in Bryant Denny, and then they go take on at Kentucky. Then they go take on, because Kentucky's 5-3, Chattanooga as well, and that ends their basically. I'm trying to see. I thought Alabama had one more game. Let me see something real quick here. Things being kind of yeah, we'll just see what happens here, and as we keep going through the thing here, just kind of wondering here, just kind of looking at everything here as it goes here. As we go further along down the road here. So without further ado here, let's get down to these LSU volleyball game and soccer schedule here. So LSU volleyball got a couple of games going on here. That they have a good bit of their season left versus Alabama on Sunday. Then they can take on Florida. I got LSU beating Alabama. Who you got, Jalen, on Sunday?
I'm gonna go with the Tigers beating Alabama, a team that they beat not too long ago, in close to the end of October. I mean, LSU the women's volleyball is looking pretty good. I know they had a little losing streak at the beginning of October with losses against Arkansas, Tennessee, A&M, and then Georgia. But the bounce back win against that Alabama team is what kind of propelled them to where they're at now, getting these wins. I mean, yeah, they took a lot of L's at the end of the close to the end of the season, but I mean, it just happens. The girls need to gel better together. They have a Bama team that they beat before. They have them at the American Center, so LSU should have come out with the win.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same way. Like I said earlier, I think they'll get the job done here. Like you said, they propelled them to higher, greater heights and went on a run there. So, if we looking at it from they got a good bit of schedule left. They got Florida next week, but I think they take care of business Sunday against Alabama. Now we're gonna switch it here to LSU soccer. Now they have the SEC championship tournament games going on here. There's a lot going on in terms of that here. That ends up being from November 11th to I think the 20th. I'm not sure. Jalen, what you think about the soccer team this year?
The soccer team also had their ups and downs. I mean, they would go on a little win streak and then they go on a little losing streak. I just think it just depends on how they what seed they'll be in the NCAA tournament, which is starting like you said, November 10th is actually coming up. I think they can go out there and upset some teams. I mean, yeah, when you tie against Kentucky, tie against Texas A&M, you lost before the Auburn, you tie Arkansas, lose to Bama. It's like those losses. I mean, those ties, you're ties, but they're not wins. So the last win they technically had was October 8th against Tennessee, and that's almost a month ago. So it's like they need to find some kind of momentum in this SEC tournament to try to see if they can make a deep run to the NCAA tournament.
So, Kentucky did beat LSU. That was the 29th. They won. They advanced on penalty kicks 4-2. Unfortunate end for them in the SEC tournament here. It's this is I think the men. Yeah. Last year South Carolina won it. That was one there too here. So as we look at it here, looking at the round of 8, Auburn beat Tennessee, quarterfinal, excuse me. Georgia beat Kentucky. That was one. Texas A&M also beat South Carolina. Arkansas beat Auburn. Alabama and Mississippi State went toe to toe and then 2-0. Ended up winning on the penalty kicks. Now we got the semifinals coming up Thursday, November 2nd, which is basically at 5 o'clock here. They haven't updated it yet, so we apologize at the time of recording. Number 1 Arkansas taking on number 4 Mississippi State. Then coming on later on tonight, 7:30, Georgia taking on Texas A&M, number 2 and number 6. Then the championship we played this Sunday. Let's take the winner of match 7 and the winner of match 8. So we'll have to see how all that goes down as we continue looking through this soccer schedule here. So
I'll tell you this, Chief. Though the thing about it is, not only could they have beaten Kentucky in the SEC tournament, it's like you were that close to getting a big win. I mean, against a ranked team. But I know they lost on penalty kicks, but that would have been a great win for them. And even if they lost in the next round of the SEC tournament, it would have built so much momentum for them in the NCAA tournament.
yeah, the only yeah, that would have been a good way for them to go there, but it's a little too short, you know. They gotta do what you gotta do. But now let's go back and pick the top 25 games here. So I've talked about LSU and Alabama. We know what's at stake in that game. So let's start off with that game. Jalen, who you think wins in Tuscaloosa Saturday night?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with the LSU Tigers. I think LSU's offense is gonna be too much for Bama's defense. I think LSU's defense can stop Bama on offense. I just think that, like I said, I keep saying this Bama team isn't the Bama team of the past. I just think LSU is the overall better team.
So I'm gonna come out and say this here. LSU's defensive line's been playing a lot better since Pete Jenkins came back into the fold here. Their technique seems to be better. They seem to be shooting the gaps a little bit more. And I think that it's one of those things, like, you know, you're putting pressure on, you're really putting them out of sync here. So when you get pressure on the quarterback here. So now I think Alabama struggled at times this year. They struggled against Tennessee. That team out of Florida, Jalen, what's that team's name? I can't think of it right now. Tip of my thumb. Tip of my tongue. Was it USF?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was
Yeah, I think they
USF.
played South Florida. So we'll see what happens here. LSU and Alabama, but I got LSU winning this game. I think LSU's secondary will do enough. Vegas is being a little generous to Bama. I think 3-point favorites, not too much there, but give me LSU to win this game over Alabama. All right, next game. Number 1, Ohio State taking on Rutgers. I got the Buckeyes winning this one. Jalen, who you got in that game?
Yeah, I'm going with the Buckeyes also. I know Rutgers is having a pretty good year. I mean, they already won 2 straight games against Michigan State and Indiana, but I think Ohio State is literally, you can say, is the best, one of the best teams in all of college football. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is just he's just a dog, dude. It don't matter what quarterback
He's a beast.
it is that's throwing the ball, he goes out there and makes those ridiculous catches, bro.
All right, number 23, Kansas State taking on number 7, Texas. Give me the Longhorns. I think they're going to hook them. Who you got, Jalen?
I'm going to go with Texas. I think this will be closer than people think because Quinn Ayers is still out with the injury. So they're going with their backup quarterback. But I still think Texas will beat Kansas State at home.
Texas A&M 5-3 taking number 10 Ole Miss. Now this is a kind of a game that kind of scares me a little bit for Ole Miss, but I think they handle it very well. Give me the Ole Miss. Hotty Toddy gets the win. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ole Miss also. I mean, it's crazy how over the years people were talking about A&M getting all these 5-star guys and they should be top of the SEC, and every year it's like it's just not happening. So I think Ole Miss is going to take this one.
Number 15 Notre Dame taking on Clemson here. I got Notre Dame winning this one. Clemson definitely not what they used to be anymore. They're 4-4. We kind of called them out earlier this year with it. Who you got, Jalen?
Oh yeah, Clemson has been struggling all year. They're like this year, Dabo's team is just they're just not the team this year. I'm gonna go with Notre Dame.
UConn versus number 17 Tennessee. Give me the Volunteers. This should be an easy win for them. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, Tennessee is gonna take this one easily. UConn has won 1 game all year. Just go on and give me the
Arizona State versus number 18
Volunteers in this
Utah.
one.
I have Utah winning this one. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Utah also. Utah literally got destroyed by Oregon, but yet they beat USC the week before. So Utah is just they're trying to get their rhythm back, and they're gonna get it back against Arizona State.
Army versus number 25 Air Force. I have Air Force to continue their undefeated season. Who you got, Jalen? Also, this is also a rivalry game as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great rivalry game. And they play every year. And Air Force is really good. Like you said, they're still undefeated. They're ranked. I mean, I'm gonna go with Air Force in this one.
Number 12 Missouri versus number 2 Georgia. Look, this is a sneaky pick for me. I really think Missouri might be actually going to beat Georgia. There's a hint there. There's a little bit of a dart. Like this is the one game that I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia dropped it because Georgia has not been tested this year. I don't know what they actually really have as far as all this goes here. So if you're looking at this game, they got Georgia. I'm taking the points. I think it's gonna be closer to 15 points, but I do think Georgia does pull it out late. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Georgia in this one. Well, like you said, Missouri's defense could pick it up and stop Georgia's offense. I mean, stop that Brock Bowers leading offense. But I think Georgia is gonna pull it out in the end at home in this one.
Number 4, Florida State versus Pitt. Give me the Seminoles. I think they take this one easily. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, the Seminoles are going to win this one. Pitt only won 2 games all year. Keon Coleman is another one. Louisiana native. He's balling out too.
All right, number 9, Oklahoma versus number 22, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma might lose this one. And y'all wanted an upset pick. I'm gonna give y'all one. I got Oklahoma State upsetting Oklahoma. Who you got, Jalen?
Oh, you see, it's a tough one. Oklahoma suffered their first loss last week, but I'm gonna go with the Sooners on this one. I think they're gonna bounce back. Big road matchup against a rival, Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma will take this one.
Number 11, Penn State versus Maryland. I got Penn State winning this one. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Penn State in this one. I think they're going to get a bounce back after losing to Ohio State. They're going to bounce back against Maryland.
Virginia Tech versus number 13, Louisville. I have Louisville winning this one. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Louisville also. I think they'll get the win at home. And it's crazy, they only lost one game all year. They're playing pretty well.
Yeah. Number 24, Tulane versus East Carolina. I got the Green Wave winning against East Carolina. Who you got, Jalen?
Oh yeah, the Green Wave is going to easily take this one on the road. They take a nice trip to East Carolina, who's only won one game all year. Give me the Green Wave in this one.
California versus number 6, Oregon. I have Oregon winning this game over Cal. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Oregon also in this one. Bo Nix is still playing football, so yeah, Oregon's
Yeah,
going to take this one.
he's this year Stinson Bennett.
Oh, for
Number
real.
21, Kansas versus Iowa State. I have they Iowa State favored here by 2.5 here. It's kind of hard to call it an upset if you pick Iowa State because Vegas has them winning it. But I mean, would it be an upset if Kansas beat Iowa State if Vegas was winning? But anyway, I'm gonna go with Kansas though. I think they take care of business against Iowa State. Who you got, Jalen?
You know, I'm gonna go with the home team in this one. I'm gonna go with Iowa State. I think they're gonna beat Kansas, but like you said, you can't really consider it an upset because they're really favored to win, and Kansas is ranked. But I'm gonna go with Iowa State on this one.
Purdue versus number 3, Michigan. I wonder how many signs Michigan's gonna steal. It seems like that's been the big talk about the Big Ten and everywhere else in college football. The sign stealing thing, which I think all teams do it. They just don't get caught with it. But a lot of other things a lot of teams do. They don't get caught with it. But if they really want to stop that, put the microphones in the helmets. I know that some teams do that, but give me Michigan to win. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Michigan in this one against Purdue. And like you said, everybody does something to help their team win. It's just Michigan got caught, bro. That's the only difference.
Number 5, Washington versus number 20, USC. USC has no defense. They're not going to stop Washington. They're going to beat that 3-point spread, I think, easily. Give me Washington.
Yeah, I like this matchup. I'm going to go with Washington on the road. I think it was Michael Penix Jr. is having a career year. He could be the number one quarterback taken in the draft. I think he's playing excellent. I think Washington's going to take this one against USC, which is going to be a great game.
Number 16, Oregon State versus Colorado. Give me Oregon State. Who you got, Jalen?
Yeah, as much as I love the story of Colorado, I'm gonna go with Oregon State. Former Clemson quarterback is their starter. I'm gonna go with Oregon State on this one.
Number 19, UCLA versus Arizona. This one's kind of a scrappy one. Arizona's definitely a scrappy team. I could see them definitely pulling off the upset here for sure. And so much so, I will pick Arizona to knock off UCLA. Who you got, Jalen?
Well, I think we got the right mindset on this one. Good year. The defense really stepped up against Colorado, but I think yeah, I'm gonna go with Arizona on this one.
All right, that's all the top 25 games we have for this week here. So, Jalen, anything else you think we missed here?
Um, I don't think we missed anything, Chief. Just go Tigers, bro. They got to come on and get this win against Alabama, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like this is the chance for them to go back to back to the SEC championship game. This is a really huge game here, and finally starting to see some consistency within the LSU program. So we'll see what happens here on Saturday, and we'll be right back here next week here on the Fishbowl Radio. Thank y'all for tuning in here. Hope you have a great, wonderful night, and we'll see y'all next time here on the Fishbowl Radio.